Middle Eastern perfumes are getting a lot of hype right now because they are mainly duping expensive and well-known fragrances. But what if I tell you that there are Middle Eastern perfumes that are not duping expensive fragrances and they are actually good on its own? Will you still care for them? If you're new here, my name is Joanna and I do reviews and recommendations of affordable and luxury fragrances in my channel. Now, if that sounds appealing to you, then please do keep watching and maybe consider subscribing. First perfume that I'm going to talk about is Leen by Lattafa. And if you watch my channel, you know that I've talked about this fragrance many times already. Actually, in one of my videos wherein I rate Middle Eastern perfumes, I rated this a 10 out of 10. This to me is a floral fragrance. However, I find it very unique because of that green mango scent that I am getting. This is mainly jasmine and tuberose. However, it has that spicy turmeric and ginger that is giving this fragrance some zestiness. I am also getting a prominent osmanthus, so it is kind of like green as well, and it has a creamy sandalwood in the base, along with incense and musk. I find this fragrance unique and amazing. If I have to think of a fragrance that it is similar to, okay, not a dupe, okay? To my nose, this is similar to Dior's J'adore L'Or. So if you like that fragrance, you might like this one as well. But keep in mind that this is not just jasmine and tuberose, as it has a very prominent greenness coming from the mango and osmanthus. I highly recommend you checking this one out if you are looking for a unique Middle Eastern fragrance that is perfect to use this spring and summertime. Yeah, that is Leen by Lattafa. Next up is Flor Oud by Khadlaj. And this fragrance is a rose dominant scent. So if you are a rose lover like me, you're gonna love this one. This has a prominent balsamic note and a citrusy rose in the opening, and as it dries down, balsamic note actually develops. So if you are not into balsamic notes, or if you are the type who gets metallicness in any balsamic notes, then you have to be careful about this one. I know the name is Flor Oud. Actually, it sounds scary, especially if you don't like florals and oud, because you will just think that this is a very Middle Eastern kind of scent that is indolic, right? I don't find it indolic at all. It is heavy in rose, but it has that citrusy factor that is coming from the orange. So it is actually quite refreshing. It's not that kind of deep and dark rose. There is still balance in this fragrance because of the citrus notes coming from the orange or tangerine. But to me, I think this has a solid sandalwood, amber, and Peru balsam base that makes this fragrance unique from any other rose floral oud combo that I've tried. Really lovely fragrance. I highly recommend this if you are into roses, all right? And when it comes to longevity and projection, I find this one good as it lasts me around 6 to 8 hours. And actually, I forgot to mention that about Leen as well. Both of these fragrances, or I must say all of the fragrances that I'm going to mention today, at least last on me and on my clothes for around 6 to 8 hours. Yeah, that is Flor Oud by Khadlaj. Next up is Teriaq by Lattafa. I know that this one is going viral as well for a reason. I find this fragrance really beautiful. This to me is a caramelized and honeyed dried apricot sprinkled with loads of pink rose petals. There's something about this that is drawing me in. It's like the more I use it, the more I love it. And since I'm a rose fragrance lover, I am really digging this perfume. I find this very unique. A lot of people are comparing this to Labelle, and I have made a video comparison between the two. If you haven't watched it, I'm gonna link it down below. I don't find them similar. This to me is basically thick caramel and honey plus rose petals. It is beautiful. However, you must be into roses once again and caramelized texture kind of fragrances. And speaking of caramelized, I find this thick in consistency. However, it feels light, which I find very unusual actually, because since it is like syrupy sweet, it feels light as well. And I think it's mainly because of the pink pepper, because to me, I notice pink pepper adds that sparkly and light vibe to any kind of fragrances. And I feel that with Teriaq. So I highly recommend you checking this one out. If you are into roses and thick caramel honeyed scents, when it comes to longevity and projection, this one stays on put more than 8 hours, stays forever on clothes. Can't say more amazing stuff about this fragrance, Teriaq by Lattafa. Next up is the flanker of Khamrah, and this is CRA Kawa. I know as well that a lot of people are saying that this is the same as the OG, which is Khamrah, and I disagree. I made a video about that as well, comparing them side by side, and I find this fragrance very unique. I love coffee scents, and I haven't smelled any coffee scent that is similar to this. The closest perfume that I can compare this fragrance with is of course the OG, Khamrah, but this has an added spiced coffee. And I'm talking about a kind of coffee that is not too strong. So basically not an espresso. Imagine like an Americano style coffee with coconut milk. And at the same time, it is spiced with cardamom and nutmeg on top. I find it very unique, kind of intoxicating actually, sensual, sexy, and of high quality. I raved about this fragrance the moment I got it. You didn't need to macerate for it to smell good. Actually, I noticed that none of these fragrances needed to macerate just for them like to smell good. But of course, most of them I think now even improved, but none of these smelled like gasoline from the beginning. Anyway, going back to CRA Kawa, I highly recommend you checking this one out if the sound of a spiced latte sounds interesting to you. I find this fragrance unisex as well, and this is the most unisex scent in today's list because the rest are leaning more feminine. When it comes to longevity and projection, this can fill a room if you overspray. So yeah, just decide what kind of vibe you're going for. If you're going for the low key or you're going for that smell me before I arrive kind of vibe. Yeah, anyway, highly recommend CRA Kawa by Lattafa, a very unique coffee scent in my opinion. And last but not the least is my favorite Middle Eastern perfume discovery as of now. And this is Musamam White Intense. And guys, this is a beautiful yellow floral scent that is very milky and coconutty. The kind of sandalwood and coconut that are in here, I feel like is a very high quality, like something that is hard for me to find in a Middle Eastern perfume. I've tried and tested so many coconut dominant fragrances from Lattafa, and I don't know, I find them screechy and sunscreeny. However, this one is very different, and I don't know why. I think the kind of sandalwood that is in here is different as well. It is creamy, but not lactonic. It is just a perfect blend, guys. And also it has that kind of musk that doesn't hurt my nose. And I just find this fragrance very elegant and sophisticated. I haven't smelled anything like this. Even though it is not the most unique scent ever, still I don't find it like as a dupe of something. And with that, I highly recommend you checking this one out if you are into creamy sandalwood and coconut along with some yellow floral vibes. Musamam White Intense by Lattafa, a very feminine fragrance that is great to use all year round, in my opinion. So those are 5 Middle Eastern perfumes that I find amazing and not dupes of any fragrances. What do you think? Or do you actually think that they are dupe of something else? Please write in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching and see you on my next one. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Bye.